Hello and welcome to Basiltov, the courage and creativity of ADHD. I'm Jen.
I'm Ellen.
And I'm Annette.
And we're here with more ADHD goodness for you today. But before we get on to what we are going to talk about today, I just want to interrupt a little and ask Annette, where is Annette today?
Yeah, so I came back from Mississippi. I'm back in Japan, and now I'm on tour. So I'm in Tochigi Prefecture in the city of Utsunomiya, which is famous for dumplings. And
Yum.
yesterday
Yum,
I
yum.
had a show in Takasaki. Today is my day off. Tomorrow I'll have a show in Utsunomiya. So just on the road.
That's
On the
awesome.
road. For somebody
Yeah,
like me, it seems fabulous. And for Annette, it is just everyday life.
Yeah,
Yep,
I
just
feel
a
like
day's
I
work.
haven't been home much recently.
Oh.
So,
Speaking of homes, though,
Oh,
there's
yes, our topic.
our topic for the day is how clean is your home right now?
Ooh. Yeah, it could be better.
Uncomfortable silence.
I don't know. I'm in a hotel. I have no idea how clean my house is right now.
Yeah,
But
you're
my hotel
Okay.
room's nice.
Good, good.
So Annette won't know this question, but on a scale of 0 being there are fillet of fishes under your couch to 10, which is like you could eat off the floor. How clean is your house today, Ellen?
Well, my parents actually visited last week. They helped me with a lot of tidying up and getting rid of just clutter. So I feel like right now I'm at about like a 5, probably. Like it needs some
Cool.
deep cleaning, but
Mhm.
clutter-wise, doing better than usual.
That's awesome. And my house it's a little bit cluttered anyway because we recently moved. So there's still boxes here and there that have to be unpacked that are they're out in the garage really. But um, we at least have that level of organization where it's not just boxes in any old given space. But I just recently got out of the hospital because we had avian flu really bad in my house and I got it the worst and wound up in the hospital for a few days for some serious intensive care. So my level of clean is not where I usually like it to be. It's probably, to be honest, like a 3 or 4 right now because I just for weeks and weeks have been sick and not felt up to it. But why are we even asking this? What does that have to do with ADHD? And the answer lies in cognitive, your cognitive. What the heck is the name of it? I'm going to forget it now.
Executive function.
There
Yeah,
we
sure.
go.
Executive function, which apparently mine's not doing so great at the moment. But Annette, what is executive function?
Okay, so executive function is basically self-regulation skills and mental processes that, help you to plan and focus your attention, remember instructions, and do multitasking. And so people with ADHD tend to have a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? They have a problem with less executive functioning skills. I want to say deficits. That's what I wanted to say. They have
Yeah.
a deficit in executive functioning, and so what happens is neurotypical people will be like, "Oh, I need to do the dishes," and they'll stand up and they'll go to the sink and start washing dishes. But with
Mm-hmm.
people with ADHD, what tends to happen is they will have that thought, but the push to get up, the push to move to do the next task is not there. And so you end up, that you have to do it, but the ability to actually move yourself to do it is, there's a deficit there. And so this is a theme that I see a lot on the ADHD women, the women ADHD subreddit. And a lot of women with ADHD are like, well, I'm having trouble. My house is a mess and I just don't know where to start and I don't know how to do this. And normal people can just do it. And now why can't I just clean. And so this
Mhm.
is an issue that a lot of women with ADHD suffer from. So
Yeah.
how about you guys?
Yeah, I can
Oh boy.
completely relate to that, of that feeling of knowing that you need to do something and it's really important, but your brain just won't let you do it. It's like,
Yeah.
you feel kind of trapped in a way. So it's very
Yeah.
frustrating.
Yeah, trapped is a really, really good way of describing that feeling. It's almost like if I sat on the couch and I was like, I really have to do the dishes just in my own head, I would feel like frustration instantly because I know I'm supposed to get up. I know that I know that I need to go do it, but the follow through does not follow through. So
Yes.
I just sit on the couch and I just sit there thinking about it until I get distracted by my kids or whatever. And then it's then it's a moot point because I've gotten down a rabbit hole and I've forgotten anyway. But um it's a huge problem, but I think it's also a bigger problem for women because how society places such a huge burden on women to be the caretakers of their household, to be the ones who do the dishes, the laundry, the little tiny mindless cleaning tasks like taking a toothbrush to any molding in your house or whatever,
Yeah.
the light switches and all of this. Did you guys know that you're supposed to clean your light switches like at least every few months?
Wow, I did not
A
know
lot of
that.
people don't do
I
that.
don't think I've
Yeah,
ever cleaned my light switches.
Nope.
right. And this is something I know because earlier on, years back before coronavirus, I had my own house cleaning business and I would clean other people's houses for money when I couldn't even clean my own. And the money was really the motivator.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
amazing because
External motivation.
yes, external motivation for the win. I get paid to do it, so I'm going to do it like a pro. And I did it like a pro. And I had tons of clients who loved my work because I was very thorough and I was able to offer them, a decent deal on a super deep house cleaning when their house could have started off looking like a bomb went off in it. I just go up there, no judgment, because when you're being hired to clean somebody's house, those who have been in the profession for a while understand that you're most likely going to be dealing with people who are extremely busy and they're out of their house a lot, or they have some kind of disability. And that was the case with almost every single one of my clients, is that they had some form of disability and possibly multiple disabilities. So their barrier to having a clean house was so much higher than everybody else's that, if you look at it, it's kind of unfair to expect them to have a clean, tidy house. So is it fair to us, people with ADHD, to, bully ourselves into thinking that our houses should be spotless at all times?
Yeah, that's a really
Probably
good
not.
point. You know, I
Yeah.
I I've been following this woman on TikTok named Casey Davis, and she actually just started a podcast too called Struggle Care. And what I
Oh,
love about her is that she takes the morality out of cleaning. She's like, cleaning, these are just cleaning tasks are morally neutral. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person if you have a messy house, or you're a good person if your house is clean, like just forget all that. And
huh.
I think she does kind of focus on ADHD in her videos a lot, but she talks about having adaptive imperfection. Like, your house might not ever look perfect, but there's ways
Yeah.
that you can kind of adapt to that. Maybe you're not folding all your laundry, but maybe you've got, open bins that you can just pull your clothes from instead. Something easy like that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I feel like,
That's a good idea. Oh my
yeah,
God.
yeah. Oh,
That
she's got
laundry
all
thing
kinds of
is
good
life
stuff.
changing. Just pull it from a bin. What?
Exactly. Exactly.
Excuse
Yeah.
That
me.
So
would drive me nuts.
oh, see, I love it. I have, if you looked in my closet, you would just see stacks of t-shirts, because I'm not going to hang them up. It's just not going to happen.
No, for me,
Wow.
everything
Yeah.
has to be put away, nothing out. If there's clutter, it just it makes my brain so unorganized, and I can't focus, and I
Ah,
can't get anything done. I'm not good with clutter. I'm not good with mess. It's like
Mm.
to the point of almost OCD. Uh,
Oh,
so and
yeah.
always
So
combine
that's your
ADHD
experience.
and OCD for superpowers.
Yeah.
no, it's not great.
Wait,
But
it doesn't work that way?
no. Well,
It sounds exhausting.
Well,
Yeah, it
and
does actually.
where a lot of women with ADHD and men with ADHD, let's not just, let's just not
Yeah.
talk about the ladies. With any person with ADHD,
Mhm.
uh, many of them tend to have this disorganized and, you know, not really good at cleaning issue.
Mhm.
Whereas for me, and I've mentioned before, I'm very high functioning with ADHD and I'm not medicated. But from the time I was a child, I had to have everything organized to be able to function, like to be able to do the things that I needed to do. And I learned a lot of this from my father, because my father, as I've also said, he also has ADHD. And my dad had lists everywhere, and things had to be in a certain way, or it would mentally throw him off. And so that's the same with me. If it's not in a certain way, it throws me off. And so I'm very good at keeping my clothes put away, my area clean, my bag goes in the same place all the time so I know exactly where it is. My keys get hung up in front of the front door and I need it that way because otherwise I
Mhm.
will never know where the hell my keys are. And
Mhm.
I just need that that uniformity in my life to keep me balanced.
Yeah, you've got like
Otherwise,
Yeah.
systems. You got systems in
yeah,
place. Hmm.
otherwise I'm just a
Yeah.
mess. And so
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
even, I'm
makes
on the
sense.
road right now, all of my suitcases, everything in my suitcases, if I pulled out and showed a picture, everything has a place. It's very organized. And the reason for that is I need to pull out things quickly and I need to
Mhm.
pack things quickly because I'm moving from one hotel to the next. I can't be forgetting chargers. I can't be forgetting clothing. I
Mhm.
can't, there's too much going on. And so I have this system and it's very organized. And if I don't keep to that, that's where the problems start.
Yeah. And that I've heard that from others, from other ADHD people in general. It might be, men, women who, doesn't matter. I've heard that from other people that, you have to have the same thing in the same place all the time. And that's exactly how I am. So, like, I do have some, you know, internal systems at work here to help me cope with it. So I always put my keys in the same pocket in my purse. I always put my purse in the same two spots in the house. Whenever I have a water bottle, it always gets put in one of like three areas. It's never just in a random spot because I'll lose track of it and I could walk right past it and not even see it. Um, Ellen, do you feel like you have any weird internal systems like that, or is that just
Yeah,
us?
I was thinking, I am in general not a very organized person. I have a high tolerance for clutter. Um, but yeah, I think just out of survival, I do put my purse in the same spot every day. I keep my keys in the same pocket in my purse all the time.
Oh.
But I still lose my phone, 10 times a day because I'm just constantly setting it down in
Where was
random
the last
places.
place you found it? In the freezer?
Oh, I put my iPad in the freezer or
Oh,
in the fridge a couple days ago. Yeah.
Oh, that's
No, my
great.
phone. Oh, the story that Annette's thinking of, I accidentally threw my phone in the recycling bin along with my junk mail and didn't
Oh
realize that
man,
for about an hour. Yeah, that was fun.
dang it. Good thing you realized it though.
I did eventually. Yep. You just have to retrace your steps.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
Man,
told
that's
Ellen
rough.
she needs to take pictures of all the locations and turn it into a coffee table book.
We should post them on the website. Like, start posting, like, wherever Ellen finds her phone or keys or
Oh,
tablet.
I've left it on. The worst is when I'm at a grocery store and I set it down on top of like the cream cheese or something and then just walk away.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I almost never do that because I always put my phone in my purse in the same spot, but every once in a while, if I take my kids shopping, they'll distract me and I'll put it on something and start walking away, and then one of my kids will be like, "Mom, your phone's over here." And I'll be like, "Ah, shit."
Yep,
Like,
yep. When
and
there's
it's just that
distractions.
internal, like, I almost lost a phone, and that's not cheap. There's some serious consequences that could happen here, like, maybe identity theft if you keep enough info in your phone. Um, but, you know,
Indeed. Tangent,
I put
but
my
yes.
phone in my back pocket, which is a problem when you go to use the toilet sometimes.
Oh,
ooh.
I went through a phase where I keep my phone in my back pocket and I did have it fall in the toilet once. Yep, it happens.
Oh.
So I can't do that
See,
anymore.
I've never put my phone in my back pocket for that specific reason because I just knew to begin with that it would happen. I knew it. I could
Yep.
see
That's smart of you. See, mine's fallen in the toilet or next to the toilet. I don't even know how many times, and guess what? It goes right back in the back pocket.
Oh man. Some of these, coping mechanisms, even if they're ineffective, they die hard.
It's
Like,
true.
seems like you just can't get a
Habits,
handle on it.
creatures of habit.
Creatures of habit, exactly. And especially ADHD people who require habits to keep afloat in their everyday lives. Like, we're especially susceptible to this. But so what we're highlighting cleanliness in homes and stuff, and the fact that we lack the ability to just keep it clean a lot of the time, and just, we call it adulting, but really what we should be calling it is a task, because, you know, a task is a task and you just do it, and there shouldn't be that level of judgment there, I think. But there are a lot of us out there, and I have personally been there before. I've gotten into like a more depressed kind of state, and my house has gotten so bad, like really dirty, and I was a cleaner. Like, I felt like the, biggest fraud on the face of the earth at some of these points, but it does happen. So today, what I want to help you guys with is, how do we tame a worst case scenario, like 5 alarm dumpster fire house? How do we do it? So first of all, I
Get
think we're
some
gonna have to.
gasoline, get some matches, burn the
Yeah.
shit to the ground and walk
Start
away.
over. Just start your
And
life
start
over.
collecting insurance checks. Anyway,
Yes.
No,
no,
insurance fraud.
don't do it.
No,
Yeah,
So
don't
that's
do it.
one method.
Right.
don't do it.
So,
The burn it and
anyway,
walk away method.
the walk away method.
Do you know
I
how
love
many
the walk
times
away
though?
method.
Because I keep my things completely organized, but that
Mhm.
doesn't mean that everybody else in my house does. And do you know how
Yes.
I don't think I could count how many times I've just looked at my house and been like, I want to burn this shit to the ground and walk away.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah,
When
I
it
hear
just
you.
seems,
Like,
when a task seems insurmountable. Yeah.
Well,
It's
yes.
really,
because you can control you to a certain degree, because executive functioning,
Mhm.
luckily I have enough control over my executive function to get things done exactly like right away. Otherwise, it's never going to get done, and that's just some skill that I've built up, through years of practice. But you can't control anybody else in your house,
Yeah.
that is so true.
Yeah. It's
and
impossible.
kids are a nightmare.
Oh boy. Yeah. And
That's a whole
it's
nother
already
episode right
been.
there.
Yeah, children. I've read, and this'll I guess this'll be a link for another time in a different episode box. But I've read multiple articles about how ADHD parents kind of face a certain amount of struggle when they're parenting, not because they're bad parents or because they're ineffective parents, but because of the executive functioning aspect of parenting,
Yeah.
where you have to get things done and follow through and have some kind of schedule in your life. And when you have kids who don't know how to do any of that because their brains haven't developed, it's even worse. And then factor in the fact that you're probably going to be, taking care of ADHD kids too. So that it's even more chaos.
Well, and take this into account because we are talking about cleaning today. Okay.
Mhm.
So if you have a problem with your executive functioning and getting yourself to clean, and
Mhm.
you have children, your children are watching you and they're
Yes.
using you as a model. And
Right.
if you sit there and say you have to clean up your stuff, but you're not consistently cleaning up your stuff, that's just
Mhm.
showing they're just looking at you like you a hypocrite. Like,
Right.
why am
Right.
I yeah, why am I having to, do this when you can't do it? So I don't see the
Yeah.
point. And
Yeah.
so that's a huge challenge in parenting with regards to cleaning.
In general.
How do you teach if you can't do it, how do you teach your kids to do it?
I
Oh
mean,
boy.
that's something that I have really had to face, lately. So my kids they're 10 and 5 now. And, like I mentioned, I really struggle with my executive function and getting like task initiation is really hard for me. Um, and I've noticed that my kids are the same way. They don't really want to clean, so
Yeah.
I've tried to find ways to make it easier for all of us. Like we usually clean together because they won't do it on their own. No amount of
Yeah.
motivation will get them to do it. But yeah, it's definitely just like what you were saying, Annette. Like I see them watching me, how I run the house, and it's not the most organized. It's almost more like
Yeah.
reactionary cleaning. Like, okay, it's gotten bad
Yeah.
enough. We got to clean this now. Yeah. Um,
Yeah. It's
Well,
the
so
same over
on
here sometimes too, to be honest.
yeah.
on that, one thing that I know, helps
Mhm.
is first of all, I mean, if you have a task list or a schedule that kids can keep to and see, that helps, but also
Mhm.
just being honest with your kids and saying, "Look, I know I'm not perfect, but this has to
Mhm.
get done. And
Mm-hmm.
maybe
Yeah.
you guys can also help me to do it. Maybe let's do it together." Like Ellen said, like we
Yeah.
all have to do this. And it's also a struggle for me, but we need to do this. This is something that has to be done.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's like for the motivation aspect is also difficult for us. So I try to remind myself, you're you're not cleaning because you're trying to prove that you're a good person. You're cleaning because you deserve to live in a clean house. You deserve a clean space. Everyone
Yeah.
functions better in a clean space. So
Yeah.
I try to
Yeah.
keep that mindset and, tell it to the kids too. But one thing I try to keep in mind though is that they have a high tolerance for clutter as well, just like me. And so, our house might not be the cleanest compared to other people's standards, but if we're all flourishing in that environment and it's not holding us back, I'm not going to be super strict with my kids on cleaning their rooms. I'm going to say,
Yeah.
maybe have them do the bare minimum sometimes, but I don't think I would ever force my kids to have a perfectly clean and organized room unless that's something they also want. Like I'm just talking
Yeah.
like the cleaning basics as far well actually I have a list of sort of the basics that to make a room functional, like let's say
Yeah.
your living area is just trashed and you feel
Mhm.
completely overwhelmed, you don't even know where to start. Here's 5 things you can do to make a room functional. Okay, trash. Start with trash. Get a trash bag, walk around, pick up all the junk in the room that you see, and then just set that bag down. Laundry, find any clothes or shoes lying around, put those in a pile. Dishes, walk around, find the dishes laying around in your living room, put those in the sink. You can wash them later. Don't even worry about them now. And then things that have a place and things that don't have a place. Like you pick up a random object, maybe your kid left his Rubik's cube in the living room,
Yeah.
that goes in their room. So just go throw it back in their room really quick, or have a basket where you put toys that need to be put somewhere else, but those 5 things: trash, laundry, dishes, things that have a place and things that don't have a place. Those are kind of my
Mhm.
list that I go through to just tackle a room that is, feels overwhelming.
Which is really smart because if you are separating out the tasks and you're breaking it down so that people with ADHD, because they have executive functioning problems, if you're trying to multitask, then you're going to get lost. So if you're
Right.
breaking it down to just
Yes.
doing one thing at one time and you're only focusing on that. So for example, the garbage, you're only focusing on the garbage. You're not looking at the toys. You're not looking at the dishes. That helps to get that task done, and then you can move on to the next thing. And
Exactly.
so
Yeah,
that's
and
actually really
it only
smart.
takes a few minutes. It only takes a few minutes to do each one. Yeah, and then when you're done,
Yeah.
if you still have energy, maybe you can dust or wash the windows,
Hmm.
whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And, there are things to consider about quality of your health too in your home, because there are a lot of aspects of cleaning that people don't realize are an issue that, if you've been in a cleaning business, certain things are going to be an issue because your
Oh
clients will
yeah.
specifically mention them, like
Tell us some of
asthma,
your
for
findings.
instance, and
Hmm.
allergies with dust and mold and mildew. Those things, that have spores or that fly through the air, those are all things that need to be kept under a certain amount of control so that you can just breathe and be healthy. Um, and another aspect that people don't think about of having clean houses is the fact that, or apartments, this is clean homes in general, is that the dirt, if there's enough buildup of dirt and grime and like hand oils and stuff like that on certain surfaces like paints and plastics, it will actually corrode it and damage it over time. So you can actually damage your house by having too much layered on dirt and stuff like that. It causes corrosion. So it might actually cost you money in the long run, in the form of losing a deposit or owing more money than your deposit, or having to replace expensive things inside of your house if you own it. So, these are other aspects where, ADHD people might get the secret bill that nobody else has to endure because of executive functioning. But this is not to judge anybody who has a dirty home, because like if you have a home that's not clean and that it's like flat out dirty, there is a level of shame and guilt associated with that is overwhelming in its own right. And I've seen it on the faces of people that I've worked for and in their houses when I clean. They are just like, please don't judge, please be nice to me about this. And I'm just like, but why, why would I ever be mean to you? I'm here to help you. And, so, and I think the most common, the most common concern of new clients is, I hope you've seen a house that's as dirty as mine. And I think that a lot of people who are listening might be thinking that right now, like, my house is probably the dirtiest house there is. But I can guarantee you that it's not, because I've seen them. I've seen the dirtiest houses that there are. And I've had multiple clients, like client after client after client, who had multiple disabilities, who maybe couldn't bend, maybe they couldn't reach high because of a back injury, maybe they couldn't scrub because of a back injury, maybe they have autism or ADHD and have very low executive functioning skills, and they just can't, and they come to a cleaner and they're desperate, like, please help. So what do I mean by a worst case scenario when it comes to your home? um I mean, like, there are multiple animals in the home and there's excrement on the floor. There might be vomit on the floor. There might be vomit on other surfaces or excrement on other surfaces because somebody got so overwhelmed with the rest of the cleaning that was just another added layer on. um, Dishes for days, piles of laundry, piles of garbage, overwhelming amounts of recyclables that should just be, you would think that it would just, take them outside, put them in the bin, but it doesn't happen because there are multiple disabilities at play. So I've literally gone into other people's homes and over the course of a couple of months helped them completely turn it around to where they were able to use whole sections of their house that they thought were long gone and just, kind of abandon them. Um, and it always feels really good to do it. But how do you go about doing something like that? So the short the short answer is you're not going to do it overnight, and don't believe that you'll do it overnight, because that's setting yourself up for failure. Um, you have to come at it with a mentality of, I'm going to make my house cleaner today than it was yesterday. And if it's any amount cleaner than it was yesterday, that's progress. And that is like a reason to celebrate inside. Give yourself a little pat on the back for that. And it's as easy as doing exactly what Ellen was talking about. It's something that I'll do in my own home after I've felt overwhelmed or after I've been sick and not been able to clean, is do one task at a time. Look around you. How much garbage is there? Collect it. Pick it all up, because that, like, the garbage is the first thing that's got to go, because it's unnecessary. It's completely unnecessary. You have no desire to keep it in your house anyway, and it'll make the house smell better instantly. So, like, just not seeing garbage, you will feel so much better just with that alone. Just take it to the dumpster or take it to your garbage can outside. Collect recyclables, take them outside to the recyclables, if you have that available to you. If not, put it in the dumpster like many people have to do. And then you come back in and you take another look around and you see, okay, pick a room. I suggest picking the rooms that are hardest and longest to clean, which are the kitchen and bathrooms. Kitchens and bathrooms are the longest, hardest clean, and the messiest clean. So it's the one we don't want to do. So doing it first means that it's off of your plate. It's out of your hair. You don't have to do it again for a while. Anyway,
Yeah.
so look around your kitchen. How many dishes are there? Is that the nightmare that you like? Will you be able to cook dinner tonight if you don't do your dishes? Okay, so if the answer is no, do that first so that you can, make food for yourself and save money on ordering out. Then you can go around and take a look at what in here does not belong in here. That's another fun one where it's like some people will just randomly leave like sweatshirts or sweaters just hung over chairs or on the middle of their island, maybe in unsafe places where they could be burned, because they just came in and threw it down. Um, so take all of the clothes to the bedrooms that they belong in. If you have children, I highly suggest making a rule of no toys in the kitchen for safety reasons. But if you don't have that rule, collect all the toys, take it to their room, let them deal with it. Tell them that it's their job to put them away. You've done the nice thing of bringing it to them.
I want to state too that something that I do in the kitchen is I wash dishes as I'm cooking.
That's a great
So I
idea.
clean
Oh, that's
I
smart.
clean if I'm done with the pan, I rinse out the pan. If I dished up everybody's and then there's some left on the stove, I'll just put it into a Tupperware and wash the pan. Like I get it done right
Yeah,
away. And
that's
then
excellent.
I have everybody in my house. You must rinse you wash your dishes and put it in the dishwasher when you're finished eating.
Mhm. Yeah,
And
that's excellent.
I'm a
Ideal.
hard ass about it because I don't want dishes sitting in my kitchen overnight. It gets crusty, it's hard to clean. If you
Hmm.
clean it when it's fresh, it's easier to clean.
Yes,
And it smells
true.
better. You don't get
Hmm.
flies. So
Yep.
I do it just as I'm already in, cooking. So
Hmm.
I'm cooking something and then I wash it and
Yeah.
put it away right away. So
Yeah.
that might help you if you have issues being able to keep your dishes done. That's what I do. Hopefully that works for somebody else.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
share something I do because I'm,
Oh, yeah.
you know, I try to be an eco-friendly person, but I will admit that just out of survival, we use paper plates and plastic forks and spoons because I just will
Yeah.
let the dishes pile up for weeks. I just so that's my little dirty
Yeah.
secret, but it's
We do it
it
too in our house sometimes. We
yeah.
do it.
Yeah,
We've done it
yeah.
before.
I started it when my kids were really young because I realized I'm too overwhelmed to do the dishes. So we're just going to do paper plates for a little bit. And
Mm.
5 years, more than 5 years later, still doing that. And I'll
Yeah.
use real dishes, if I have company or if it's
Yeah.
a dinner that needs something thicker than a paper plate. But for the most
Mm-hmm.
part, that's just what I do out of survival.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you got to do what works for you. I
Yeah.
absolutely hate plastic forks and spoons and paper plates, and
Mm-hmm.
so I will refuse to use them.
Oh, yeah. See, they
Uh,
don't bother me at all.
yeah,
I enjoy
no,
knowing that I don't have to wash it later. That gives me joy.
but I don't have to wash it. I only have to wash mine.
So,
Yeah.
Ellen, what you're saying is that you Marie Kondoed washing the dishes.
I did.
It
It didn't
didn't
bring
make
you
her happy.
They did not give me joy. So, yep.
not bring Well, okay, so now that we know we can Marie Kondo tasks, which is totally valid, by the way, like
Mhm.
if you need to hire a cleaner who does your dusting and vacuuming, then do it. I mean, if you have the money to do it, then do it.
And
Like
if
I
Yeah,
you
there's
totally
no shame.
with
no
laundry,
shame.
laundry is another thing that people have the hardest time getting done. Okay, if you are having a problem with your laundry piling up, maybe go through your clothes and get rid of some of them and just try to keep it to what you absolutely need. And then when you take off your clothes, put them right into the washing machine. And then when it's full, you just start it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've also seen laundry services. I know there's a local one in my town, but I think there
Hmm,
might be some that are like, national companies that will you can just drop off your laundry or they'll pick it up from your
mhm.
porch, get it all washed and folded, bring it back to you in these big bins. And so, hey, if you can
Amazing.
afford it and your executive
Yeah.
function is not going so great, maybe that's a good option for you.
I
Delegate
don't think
those
that
tasks.
exists in I don't think that exists in Japan.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
But
Oh, poo.
no, but I mean, I just put the clothes right in to the washing machine, and then as soon as it's full, as soon as well, usually it's after the girls have changed out of their pajamas to go to get
Mhm.
ready for school. As soon as their pajamas are in, I'm like, boom, and I start it.
Oh, my washing machine's not in a good place in my house where that's convenient for me to do that. So we just
Oh,
use laundry
Same.
bummer.
baskets throughout the house.
Yeah, mine's in the garage. Not
Yeah.
convenient. But yeah, I
Well,
know.
you guys
It's
have
kind of
bigger
an
houses
interesting
too.
layout.
I briefly lived in a
Yeah.
house when I was married and we lived in Cleveland for 1 year. We lived in this cool old house that had a laundry chute, and I loved that because it
Ooh,
just put all the laundry in one pile, and everyone had a laundry chute, on whatever. It was like a 3-story house, and so
that's
it was great.
awesome.
It just put it all in one spot for me, right in the
Yeah,
basement by the washer and dryer.
in
Bring
Japan,
back laundry chute.
yeah,
Yeah.
In Japan, we have our toilet is in a totally different room than our bathtubs, and so we have a bathtub shower room, and then we have the sink outside of the bathtub shower area, and then next to that is the washing machine. So, uh, it's right where your clothes and everything are, and we don't have our clothes in our bedroom. We
Oh,
have a
really?
closet. Yeah, we have a walk-in closet where everybody has their clothes. And so,
Huh.
at least in my house. And so
Okay.
you're already there taking off your clothes. It's just like a pop into the
Oh, that's so easy.
yeah.
That is really smart. That's good layout.
That
And if
is.
you
It's
have good
ADHD
layout in your
friendly.
home, then just amazing for you. I'm so happy for you. We've got halfway decent layout for simply like utilization of the space itself, but not necessarily for getting chores done. So, like, do we have a walk-in closet in the master bedroom? Yeah, we do. But does it have a laundry center right next to it? It sure doesn't. That's literally underneath our feet in the garage. So, like, we could, I suppose, cut a hole in the floor and just, rig a laundry chute, but I don't
It's
feel
not a
like
bad
it. So,
idea.
yeah, I mean, maybe I could put one in. But, some people won't have that luxury because they don't live in a multi-story building or not a
Mhm.
multi-story home. They might live in an apartment. Maybe it just, isn't laid out very smartly because it's a multifamily unit. And I've got a lot of experience with that because I've lived in terrible apartments for years. But
Yeah, or
And
you know,
maybe
some
they go to
people
a
have
laundromat.
laundromat. Yeah, that's what I was
Mm-hmm.
just gonna say.
Yep.
laundromat or a laundry facility, and they have to wait in line. Maybe 10 units share, two washers and dryers. I've seen that too. So what I guess what everybody has to do is make a list of the things that they struggle with the most and figure out what the reason is behind it. Like, do you live in an apartment complex that literally has two washers and dryers available for a huge complex and everybody's waiting in line? Do you have to sometimes drive to a laundromat? Do you have, your bedrooms up on the top floor and your washer and dryer down in the basement and is just kind of a pain? So, look into that. Some homes don't have a dishwasher. Some homes are not don't have washer and dryer hookups because they've never been updated. Um, so some of these things are going to work against people who have ADHD and who struggle to just do the executive functioning aspect of doing the thing, and then they have the added barrier of, well, I got to drive to the laundromat.
It's all
So,
those barriers that add up. And then, you know what? I just remembered that same house in Cleveland. That's when we started using paper plates because the dishwasher was this old thing that you had to wheel out. You had to like it rolled out of its spot,
oh,
and then
that's old.
yeah, you'd have to roll it over to the sink and hook up the water with the kitchen sink faucet. And so this was like, just to do the dishes in the dishwasher was like this really arduous task and super inconvenient.
Wow.
So that's when I was just like, fuck it, we're just going to do paper plates this year.
I
But
have a
that has
Oh my
continued.
gosh.
confession. I have a
What?
confession to make. I'm that person that washes all the dishes with soap, like they're all clean, and then I put them in the dishwasher.
I do
That's
it too.
actually not good for new dishwashers anyway. I have a neighbor, an old neighbor, that
Huh.
had her dishwasher stopped working, and the mechanic told her, are you rinsing these like really well? She's like, yeah, I basically clean them and then just put them in here to sanitize them. And he was like, there needs to be a little grime on the dishes for the soap to cling on to and to really work. It was like,
Oh.
but they were already so clean, it was causing issues in her. So I'll never forget that.
Oh my gosh, that's
Makes me feel
I
better
crazy.
don't
about my
have that
own.
issue.
Yeah, that's
Well,
good. That's
I
probably
good.
because probably because I have other people in my house that don't insanely wash their dishes, but
Oh, good. They're keeping you
yeah.
balanced.
like growing up, we didn't have a dishwasher when I was growing up in LA, and so
Oh, so you were just used to washing everything by hand.
my parents had three dishwashers: me, my sister, and my brother.
There you go. And
Yep.
I've lived in multiple rentals that did not have a dishwasher either. So like I'd have to, get the drying racks, and every time you eat, you wash the dishes right away, because if you do, if you have lived in a place where there's no dishwasher, you know how easy it is for that to get out of control. So you have to
Mm-hmm.
wash it immediately, and then over the course of having kids, I just completely like get derailed now. So I'm pretty good about washing certain things while I'm cooking and putting them in the dishwasher if, assuming that the dishwasher has been emptied. Um, but like, I can clean while I'm cooking, but it's the stuff afterward. Like when dinner's served and you have to sit down with the kids and have a meal, and then you eat with your family and there's dishes that get piled up, and there's whatever was left in the pot is still there to be taken care of. And sometimes I'll forget to do it because after dinner time it's either homework or maybe bath or shower time or whatever. And since I have a 6-year old, sometimes I have to moderate that still. So it can be hard for me to do everything afterward. And that's where I usually get dishes that pile up.
Yep, I know that struggle for sure.
Yeah.
After
Yeah,
dinner,
I have.
So,
especially if you have kids, there's just so many tasks that need to be done.
yeah.
Yeah, and I'm
I,
lucky because I have a lot of adults in my house. I live with my mother-in-law. My husband, he's actually really good about cooking and cleaning and everything. And then I have, my older kids, and so they do, they're old enough to do everything on their own. And now my twins are 8, and so they have the expectation of, okay, you're 8 years old now, it's time for you to start rinsing off your dishes and putting them in the dishwasher. And
Mhm.
so I'm lucky in that I have a lot of adults and a lot of adult help in my house. So that's
Yeah,
probably why I don't struggle with cleaning
that's
as
valuable.
much as others.
I mean, I honestly think that's part of my problem is that, I've been divorced for about a year and a half, maybe more. I can't even remember now, but I'm the only adult in my house. And so it's just me and the kids, and I've already got
Mhm.
low standards. And so there's nobody else. It's only when like my parents visit or if I have a friend come over that I'm like, oh, better make this place look good,
Oh,
but
yep.
I can't remember if I said this on the last episode or not, but I know I told you guys that I'm going to be getting a roommate pretty soon. And so
Oh,
I'm really
yeah.
excited a friend of mine is moving in. And so I'm really excited to have another adult in the house that can help me with kind of just the main living areas of the house and
Yeah.
keeping those a little cleaner. So we've already had a few conversations about, what that looks like and expectations and boundaries and whatnot. And so, but I
Yeah.
think just having another adult in the house will be enough to kind of get my executive function kicked into drive a little bit more. I'll be thinking like, I should clean that up because, my room might not like that mess, even if I'm fine with it.
Right. Just a
So I
little
think
bit
that'll be
more
good for me.
external motivation.
Right. Yeah. Because, I've got the inattentive ADHD. And so
Mhm.
my brain is not reminding me of all these tasks I need to do. I'm the person that I need the list on the wall of, remember to clean the litter box, remember
Yeah.
to everything. So
Yeah.
hopefully that will help
Yeah.
me.
All
Totally. And
right.
I mean,
So,
yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, it's okay. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, so to wrap this in a nice, pretty bow, why don't
Oh,
we
yeah.
each give our 3 best help points on how to function with ADHD and try to keep some organization in your house?
Ooh,
Your
Yeah.
top
yeah.
Okay.
3.
Top
Top
3.
3.
So
Okay.
for
So
me, for
Yeah.
me, I would say try to do the dishes while you're cooking because,
Mhm.
you're already there in the kitchen, and
Yeah.
that helps a lot, I think, personally.
Mhm.
Number 2, teach your kids to do some of the tasks and be honest with them about your downfalls, and let them be a little honest, but still try to hold each other accountable. Like you hold your kids accountable, they hold you accountable. And
Mhm.
number 3 would be, if you are a person that functions with lists, make lists.
mhm.
Yeah.
I will
Those are really good.
say my number one thing is just to remember that cleaning tasks are morally neutral. Like I said, like you're not a bad person if you're messy. I don't,
Mhm.
you know, the term lazy. Like I feel like a lot of the
Oh,
time it's not that people are lazy. There's a problem. Like there's a
yeah.
reason why they haven't cleaned. It's not just because they're
Yeah.
lazy. There's a
Yeah,
barrier.
it's not a good term to use for people,
Yeah.
calling people
So
It's
lazy.
just a judgment.
yeah, so
Yeah.
just remind yourself, you're a good person and you deserve to have a clean space. Like that's my
Yeah.
number 2. Is like you're not cleaning to prove that you're good enough. You're cleaning because you deserve a good space to live in. You're worthy of that. And
Yeah.
then 3 is like I said, just go for adaptive imperfection. Like your house might not look like your neurotypical friend's house that has everything organized, or your friend that's borderline OCD and has everything organized, it might not look like that. You
Oh,
might
me?
have, yeah, you might have open baskets of stuff everywhere, but if that's how you function, that's fine. Just do
Mhm.
what works for you. Don't worry about anyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
good.
so my those are really good, yeah. because I think a lot of people judge themselves way too harshly, and then that adds to the overwhelm and adds to
Right. Yeah. And you
it.
are fine.
Yeah,
You're great.
yeah, reduces their chance of actually doing it too.
Yeah.
But my tips are going to be coming from the perspective of somebody who's got a very opposite household to the way that Annette's works. So I have more children than adults in my house. We're a blended family, so there's anywhere from 2 to 4 kids that might be in our house at any one time, and some of them are older teenagers all the way down to the 6-year-old that's the youngest, so it's quite an age range. But the older ones have autism and the younger ones have ADHD, so there's executive functioning problems all throughout the house. um, so things that I will typically do to help keep things under control is, no matter what age your child is, except if they can like barely walk, like they're probably capable of taking a basket and finding all the toys that they have left in a certain room and putting it in the basket and taking it to their room. So I will give them short assignments like that are very specific. You have to be very specific with them. So with Madison, my daughter, her biggest struggle is taking all the stuffed animals that she has and littering them everywhere over the house. So I will take a laundry basket and I'll say, all right, Madison, you have a bunch of stuffed animals in the living room. Now it's time to put them away. Put all of your stuffed animals in the basket or put them on the landing for the stairs, and then pick them up from there and take them to your room as you're capable. So she might put them on the landing or put them in a basket and then either take the whole basket or, take loads from the landing up to her room where they're supposed to go. And I'll be like, all right, now we're going to, move on to something else that's not a chore so that she doesn't feel overwhelmed. And all the kids can do that, whether it's clothes, toys, or other knickknacks. They can pick up their stuff and take it to their room. Um, Another thing that I have the kids do is to simply, like Annette said, pick up your dishes off of the table, take them to the sink, and either put them in the sink or rinse them off, depending on how old you are. So, like with the youngest kids, you might not be able to trust them with soap and water and breakable dishes. So, you tell them, just put it on the counter and I'll take care of the rest.
I do have to note on that topic that my twins still use plastic plates and plastic forks and spoons for that very reason. And so they are
Yeah.
more than capable of washing them and putting them in the dishwasher because they are not breakable.
That's good.
Yeah.
So I will make
We
that
chose
point.
we chose Corel dishes for that same reason, because we with the kids that have autism, they have, fine and gross motor skills issues, so they often drop things or, fumble something, and no matter how old they get, that's just going to be a thing for them. So having dishes that, look like they're grown up dishes, but maybe they're not all the way grown up dishes, might be a good solution for some households. Plus, they're lightweight and easy to carry, even for like a toddler. So, but then my suggestion number 3 would be to, like, if you have a house that's not functioning and you're struggling and you're overwhelmed, take a look at things that you need to be able to do, like shower or brush your teeth or cook a meal or sleep in your bed, and say, can I do those things? And if you can't do any of them, you pick the one that's most urgent and you start there, so that you feel better immediately, and then that kind of reinforces the fact that you've done something good by cleaning, and it will actually help you develop a positive track record of going back and following through on cleaning, because you feel good that you did the thing that you needed to do, and that positive reward system can help you keep the keep up that streak.
Yeah, and like even if you can't tackle your whole dirty dishes, the whole load of them, just wash the ones that you need to cook dinner the next day with, or just wash
Hmm.
the bare minimum. You don't
Right.
have to do it all perfect the first time.
No.
Exactly. exactly. So those are great suggestions. And I mean, as somebody who's cleaned houses for a living before, everything that Annette and Ellen has said are like completely valid ways to help manage a house that needs to be cleaned and keep your executive functioning skills in check. So those all are very good strategies.
And if you have the money, get a cleaning robot.
Oh yeah, delegate that
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
delegate it.
yeah,
You
yeah.
are the CEO of your own house. No
Yep, get a
judgment if you
Roomba.
need to hire a cleaner or somebody to come and help you do your laundry or a dog walker or, wherever you need help.
Yep.
Excuse me. I'm gonna die
Okay, let's go ahead
a
and
horrible
close
death
this
right now.
out.
We can cut that cough out.
Yeah, we
Yep.
will. Don't worry.
Yeah. Okay. But anyway, for everybody who's listening, thank you so much for listening and being here again with us. And like always, Basiltov.
Basiltov.
Basiltov.